forever. Cause this mind is straight chatter, but I can barely say something. You feel like shit don't matter, so beware the fun cutting. It's volumes of demise. I hear the sound buzzing, so when she says she...
We live in 3 dimensions.
Why?
Length, width, depth. From this, we get volume and mass. This is the first dimension where knots can exist. A string can loop around itself without passing through itself. Constraints feel real here because there's no higher spatial direction available to resolve them. This is why 3-dimensional problems feel permanent. A wall blocks you, a body confines you, a prison cell feels inescapable. Every solution that we imagine is still forced to obey the same geometry. And even in our futuristic fantasies, they reveal this limitation. What's the most futuristic mode of transport that you can think of? A lot of you, I'm going to guess, said flying cars, right? It's what comes to my mind first. That alone reveals the fundamental limitations of only thinking in 3 dimensions. Every futuristic form of transport we have is simply finding a way to bypass 2-dimensional congestion by exploiting the 3rd dimension. Subways go under, planes go over. All these different inventions do is bypass the 2-dimensional traffic. It doesn't free us from the limitations of time and space. So far, physics feels strict, but they're understandable. Everything has a physical limit that we cannot break, no matter how far ahead we think.
Seriously?
However, this feeling completely falls apart once you start going higher.
Higher dimensions. Yo, no. I actually wanted to elaborate on my point of why I consider, the online reality a dimension in itself. Because it breaks the boundary of distance, right? You can tap in with other. I mean, consider the whole content creators dilemma. You know what I'm saying? You can have your favorite content creator be from Japan, and you be all the way in Australia or whatever, and then be fed content, concepts, messages, narratives, ideas from this creator as if they were your neighbor, just popping out every few hours just to tell you, their update on the world. You know what I'm saying? But then at the same time, you didn't even have to travel, all the way across the world to get these messages and ideas from this creator. You know what I'm saying? The concept of time. When that creator allows you to get certain messages and ideas, aka their videos. Person can schedule their videos like I can, drop, because okay, here's what I do, right? I do these lives right here, and these lives basically the purpose of these lives, well, on my end, right, is to gain these watch hours. But then at the same time, I feel like using the schedule function, you know what I mean, so that okay, I'm covering the watch time hours right here, and we can also use this moment to tap in with one, since this moment is a live moment, right? But then I can schedule this live to just like come out as a video at a later stage. I unlist this live, and then I schedule I'm gonna schedule it as a video for a later stage, right? So you don't have to receive that message right now, right? Even though you got your post notifications on, over, subscribe and get those post notifications on, right? Please. But yeah, I can suspend, even though I drop the message right now, I can suspend the reception of you getting the message. You know what I'm saying? The concept of the boundary in the types of friends that you can make. You know what I'm saying? You can make friends from across the world, across nations, not just your own neighborhood, right? We've went beyond that boundary. We've went across the boundary of you as a creator. You may just be burnt out and want to take a little break from this content creation. What do? You can produce videos, like a batch of videos beforehand, right? And then just schedule those videos, those amount of videos across the span of time that you're going to be away, so that the real you, the physical flesh and blood you, can take its rest while your content still goes on. You know what I'm saying? So those kind of lines have been blurred, right? That's why I feel like this online verse can be its own dimension. That's why I'm kind of guessing maybe the 4th dimension. You know what I'm saying?
The 4th dimension arrives in 2 forms, and both
are we getting into that? Let's see what your idea of it is, bro.
Are destabilizing. The first is time, and not time as the poetic passing of events that we conceptualize it to be, but as a coordinate. In this understanding, you don't simply exist somewhere, you also exist sometime.
Okay.
And in a way, we already experience this dimension. A location without a time is meaningless to us. Meet me at the library is incomplete without at noon.
So time is the fourth dimension.
Seen this
Okay.
way, you're not a body moving through time, you're a four-dimensional object stretched across it, a world line. Your birth, every action you've ever taken, and your death are not events that you approach. They're locations on a structure you already occupy.
Yeah.
You experience this structure one slice at a time, the way a two-dimensional being would experience.
And obviously, okay, cool. Okay, so according to Aperture, the fourth dimension is time. Right. And yeah, okay. I see why you're saying that, because now that's where now we introduce the concept of death and birth and change, because that's what that is. That's what death is. It's change. It's what birth is. It's change. It's a change at a specific point in time. All right.
Experience a three-dimensional object
Expiration dates and shit.
passing through its plane. This alone quietly breaks our intuition about freedom. If time is a dimension, then your life isn't unfolding, it already exists as a shape from start to finish. You are predefined. But the more disturbing interpretation of the fourth dimension is spatial. A fourth spatial dimension does to us exactly what we do to two-dimensional worlds. A four-dimensional observer wouldn't see your surface, they would see everything. Organs, blood flow, digestion, tumors, neural activity, your entire body exposed without any form of penetration. The same you can conduct surgery on a two-dimensional object without any injuries is the same way a four-dimensional object can on you. Now to you, this would feel like a violation without
So time can perform something on you.
cause, a lawless intrusion. To them, it would feel as trivial as placing your finger in the middle of a circle. If a four-dimensional object entered our world, we would not perceive it as a whole object. We would only be able
perceive
to
it as-
observe its cross-sections, a point appearing from nothing and disappearing from nowhere, growing into a sphere, shrinking, vanishing, a ghost, not because it's transparent, but because it's incomplete.
Yep.
At this level, physics don't explode yet, but it does give us a glimpse. It shows us that everything that we think is protected on a fundamental level simply isn't. And the pattern is clear. Higher dimensions do not add complexity evenly. They introduce zones of order and zones of collapse. And this much becomes undeniable in the 8th dimension.
Oh.
Now, dimensions 5 through 7 are mathematically messy. We don't know their exact
Oh, so shit. It becomes mad mathematical. That's why a lot of people avoid that shit. They just, they're comfortable with the knowledge of just the first 3 dimensions. That basic knowledge is enough for people.
exact sphere packing limits.
Yeah.
The geometry resists optimization. It feels chaotic. Then, suddenly, in 8 dimensions, certainty returns. Mathematicians know exactly how many spheres can touch a central sphere in 8 dimensions, 240, and that's not approximately, that's exactly 240. These spheres arrange themselves into a structure called an E8 lattice, a configuration so perfect it cannot be improved upon. This is not an abstract curiosity. The same structure appears in string theory, group theory, and error-correcting codes. The geometry of 8-dimensional space is so efficient that it helps modern technology recover lost information. Reality, at certain dimensional depths, becomes better at preserving order than we are. This raises an uncomfortable question.
What's that?
Why does structure suddenly decide, of its own volition, if it has that, to reappear here in the 8th dimension? Why does the universe seem to prefer certain dimensions?
You know why I think that is? Look, this might be very ignorant expression, right? But I feel like, these dimensions, especially dimensions that are to be tapped into, they've always been there. It's just a matter of when, humans, I don't know if animals are conscious or aware of reality in these dimensional, ways. But like, as for human beings, I feel like we are yet to be aware of it. And I feel like consciousness and being aware of these kind of, realities or ways of, or forms of space. Get lost in the language, god damn it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But it's just a matter of tapping into them and just being aware of them. So even things like the 8th dimension, it's been there. It's just that, the advancement of the human consciousness, right? of things that we are aware of. And I feel like it's a whole lot more things that we are aware of. It's just we don't have a title to. You know what I'm saying? Like awarenesses, like I've heard of people who are aware of flying objects. God damn. Poltergeist, is it poltergeist? Like the paranormal kind of activity where objects can just move. Or, you know, the whole concept. I mean, I've seen it in movies where you can use your vision to move objects. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. Like you hear from people like, yeah, bro, that shit is normal. I've seen that shit. You know, magicians, they show it all the time. Yo, but to be honest, I haven't witnessed a ghost like in my life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Apart from me maybe titling my demons or my traumatic subconscious patterns ghosts or demons. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, one of them little human figures that just walks through walls and things like people are convinced I've seen this, bruh. Like, and for me, maybe, you know, it exposes the limitation to my awareness of these other dimensions that exist, but I've never seen it. I've heard of it. Maybe if some suspicious motion happens within my space, like I just chalk it up to, nah, man, the wind is blowing too hard, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Let me adjust the door, or how open this door is, or, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. That time has been no wind in the thing. No wind. I'm just not that, you know, again, I don't have a superstitious mind. You know what I'm saying? And so shit, maybe it does have something to do with the fact that there are a whole lot more dimensions beyond the 8th dimension. It's just the collective awareness of, yo, humanity, this is where we're at. And for a majority of people, or a whole lot of people, being in agreement with this, you know, awareness or form of being, aka it being taught about in schools, it being addressed by science. I don't think science has addressed, you know, the concept of ghosts like that. I'm not talking about esoteric science, like I'm talking about, you know, regular science. Goddamn it, I don't know what to call it. By the way, man, I'm trying to cut to the sponsorship scene, man. Word from our sponsors real quick. We'll be right back.
Cries, sour momentum, passive with goodbyes. I'd rather you tell them. But now the truth is I've digressed from all the feelings, so it's